Hi, everybody. It's Mike Young, lifestyle nutritionist with aPlantBasedDiet.org. Welcome to chapter 52 of my book, Live to 150. And it is a little comparison between fresh food and frozen food. Now, before we move into this, let's talk about food. What's food? What does your body know of is food? Well, we know it's food as grown. So we're talking about plants are mostly whole plants. They can be cut up in small, slightly, very minimally processed, stirred, whatever. But what's the difference between fresh and frozen? Is there a difference? Well, I'd say definitely yes, there is a difference. I've even seen some people say that frozen foods are almost like cooked foods. They're not really raw. And at some points, there's these different flash freezing techniques. Sometimes I don't even know all the techniques. If you know all the different techniques that people are using these days, write them in the comments below. I've heard people say like sometimes frozen could be better than fresh because they'll freeze the plants at the absolute peak of ripeness. And I guess they can, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how this is done. I don't ever see any details in the packaging making any claims whatsoever. I don't know. Do you? I think that really is still fresh. Fresh is more important, and not just regular fresh. I mean, you just picked it off the plant type of fresh. If we're comparing, I just picked it off the plant and it ripened on the plant compared to frozen, that fresh is going to win out every time. Now, what you find in your grocery store or at the farmer's market, I don't know when the last time they picked it. Especially at the grocery store, if you're buying a tomato, most of those are harvested green and then they gas them to turn them red. It's anything but fresh. So you have to define fresh too, or we're comparing fresh to frozen. I mean, I don't know. Do they even sell frozen tomatoes? I don't think that they do, but because of the way that I understand tomatoes are treated in terms of not, being ripened on the plant and things like that, I can understand why you might want to look at a frozen version of a tomato, but I don't think that does even exist. But the bottom line is that there is a difference. If you're eating plants for the enzymes and the life that's in the plant, you want it as close to that living category as possible. And of course, different things can happen when you freeze a plant too, because if you don't keep it frozen and it thaws and freezes and thaws, then that's a whole other thing. And of course, you have no way to know if that's happened to your frozen food at all. You have no way to know. Of course, sometimes it might develop freezer burn. That's another story. And that's not a good one either. So I'd say that if you're really trying to optimize your health, you want to eat as many fresh, plant ripened foods as possible, or as close to that as possible. Now, buying them in the store fresh is probably still going to be superior to buying the frozen version. If you disagree with that, please let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear your feedback on these types of things. But I'd also say that eating frozen food is still going to be superior to eating any type of high or mid to high level processed foods, anything that does not fit the definition that we laid forth in chapter 42 of the diet that you should be eating. It's still going to be better. So don't think that you failed, because I like smoothies too, and smoothies don't seem to do right unless you use frozen foods, do they? If you have a way to make smoothies without frozen foods, let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that. But especially in warm months, when you're having a smoothie, and of course all the fiber is still there, all the water is still there, you like it cold too. So it just blends up. It just has a better consistency to it. But I know it's not optimal. So, but again, a smoothie is probably better than anything else that me or some other person would choose to eat on a day like that. So I'd like to hear your feedback, but that's it. That's the takeaway. It's pretty short and sweet. Go for the fresh whenever you can. Don't think you're doing something wrong with frozen, but I just want to lay it out there that fresh is going to be superior, and there's many factors in there. So if you got something out of this video, please like the video, and of course subscribe to the channel so that we'll give you notification of our next chapter. Bye-bye.